Every civilization tells stories about where it came from. These stories are rarely lies, but they are rarely complete. Over time, societies reshape their past, not always deliberately, not always dishonestly, but always purposefully. The past becomes a tool used to explain the present, justify power, and imagine the future. History is not rewritten only after collapse. It is rewritten continuously. In the earliest stages of civilization, memory is fluid. Stories circulate orally, adapting to audience and context. But as societies grow larger and more complex, memory becomes institutionalized. Laws are written, chronicles are commissioned, archives are established. At this moment, history becomes something that can be managed. Management implies choice. Rulers quickly learn that control over the past strengthens control over the present. By framing origins, victories, and failures in specific ways, authority becomes naturalized. Power appears inevitable. Alternatives disappear. This process does not always require censorship. Often, it works through emphasis. Certain events are celebrated repeatedly. Others are mentioned briefly or framed as exceptions. Over generations, repetition becomes truth. The past narrows. Every civilization selects a starting point, a founding moment, a heroic age, a unifying struggle. What came before is minimized or erased. This creates continuity and identity, but it also hides complexity. Founding myths simplify messy realities into moral narratives. These narratives become sacred. Once history becomes identity, questioning it feels dangerous. Revision is framed as betrayal. Doubt becomes taboo. This emotional defense protects social cohesion, but at the cost of accuracy. Empires excel at this process. Expansion is framed as destiny. Conquest becomes liberation. Resistance becomes rebellion. Language transforms violence into order. Administrative records reinforce this framing. Taxes become contributions. Labor becomes duty. Extraction becomes civilization. Over time, these terms lose their political origin and feel natural. Even collapse is rewritten. Civilizations rarely admit structural failure. Decline is blamed on corruption, outsiders, or moral decay rather than systemic overload. This protects the legitimacy of surviving institutions. It allows continuity without accountability. When a civilization fragments, successor states inherit selective memory. They emphasize aspects of the past that legitimize their existence. Elements that complicate identity are ignored. History becomes a patchwork of inherited narratives. Religion often becomes a vessel for rewritten memory. Sacred texts preserve stories aligned with moral order. Contradictions are resolved through interpretation. Symbol replaces uncertainty. This does not mean religious memory is false. It means it serves a different function than historical record. Education systems finalize the rewrite. Textbooks condense centuries into linear narratives. Ambiguity disappears. Students learn what to remember and what not to ask. This process is subtle. No single generation chooses to distort history. Each generation inherits a simplified version and simplifies it further. The result is a past that feels coherent but lacks depth. Archaeology and critical scholarship occasionally disrupt these narratives. New evidence forces reconsideration, but revision is slow. Institutions resist change. Identity resists disruption. Even modern civilizations are not immune. National histories are curated. Founding myths are polished. Failures are reframed. Complexity is reduced to maintain unity. This rewriting is not always malicious. Societies need shared stories. They need meaning. But when rewritten history becomes unquestionable, it becomes dangerous. Civilizations that cannot face their past cannot adapt their future. The ultimate irony is this: rewriting history often creates the very conditions that lead to collapse. By hiding structural failures, societies repeat them. By mythologizing success, they misunderstand its causes. By silencing dissent, they lose corrective feedback. History becomes a closed loop. To study history honestly is not to reject identity, but to hold it lightly. It is to accept that the past is larger than the stories we tell about it. Every civilization rewrites its past. The question is whether it leaves room for truth to return. Because the past does not disappear when ignored. It waits, and it always comes back. Through ruins, through evidence, through consequences. Subscribe to this channel for more. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a story lost to time.